Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for this video. I'm really passionate about what I'm going to talk about and share it with you guys. You would have seen me talk about this kind of stuff all over my Instagram and of course on the Test Talks Instagram. But it's just crazy that we are coming into 2022 already. I'm still saying 2020 when I speak to people. So really gotta work on that and get with the times. I have a few practices that I do pretty much every year, end of every year, leading into the next year, just before New Year's, to really set my intentions and my visions and my goals for the year ahead. And they honestly make so much difference. And I think especially after a pretty wild ride that we've all had, it's the perfect time to do these kinds of things and take a bit of time out to do some self-love and some self-care. So I've got my little journal here, which I have taken away with me. I pretty much take it everywhere I go. Even if I'm going on like a short trip for like 4 days or something, I'll sometimes still take it and journal and jot down notes, because I just find journaling so powerful. It's a practice that I took up regularly during lockdown last year, and it was just like so good for me to get all my thoughts out. It's really good for just getting that clarity, helping to process emotions. And the coolest thing is like reading back on it. So I'm really grateful that I took the time to write so much during lockdowns, because it was wild to see what we actually went through and remembering like day-to-day situations and different things that happened. But let alone imagine reading things in like 20 years time when you can look back and reflect. So I'm like a massive believer in journaling, and I spend a lot of time journaling before coming into the new year. So there's a few ways that I like to start. Sometimes I'll just start free-flowing and just like write about the year, just like get it all off my chest and like reflect a little bit about what I've written. But then I will use a few trigger questions to kind of get it going. So one of my favorites is writing a gratitude list of all the things that have happened to me in the year that's just passed. So that's like a really nice way of like reflecting and looking for the positives, even if the year's been quite like stressful, had different hardships. It's a really nice way to like just look back on the year and also like put your head in the right frame of mind, like going forward and looking forward for the new year. And then I love to answer some questions about what I'm gonna let go of. So reflecting back, what are the things in my life that I feel like, see you later, enough of that, or things that are not serving me anymore. So take a bit of time with the journaling. I think it's a really therapeutic thing, and it can be a really nice way to just let go of all the shit that's happened in the past year and reflect on all the really good things as well. There's just like so much that comes of it. I also find sometimes when I'm like journaling a lot, it also like enhances my creativity. I think if you really just like let yourself go and like free form and just like write, you'll be really surprised by what comes out. But then I like having those like structured questions just when I'm kind of like doing my intentions for the new year. So then as the word intentions, I like to use the word intentions a lot, sometimes over goals and plans, because I feel like with goals and plans, even though I do set them and I do look at them, I feel like the word intention has a little bit more leniency with it. I don't know if that's a word. Because we have to be adaptable to what life presents us, and sometimes the universe has something better in store for us. So if we have our intention and we're there and we're working towards our intention and we're living by it every day, then that's great. But if something happens, like a new opportunity presents itself or a challenge happens, it kind of leaves us in that fluidity space where we can adapt and we can move with it. Whereas sometimes if we're so fixated on our goal, we might be thinking so specifically about a certain timeline that when other things come in, it just causes us complete like disarray and like challenge and negative energy, because we're pushing too hard for something that we can't really get. So it's a fine line between like setting your goals and your plans and then also bringing in intention. So I think it's a really nice balance when you can kind of like find this synergy between the two. So for example, and this is kind of also where a bit of manifestation comes in, which I'd love to talk about. So for example, a few years ago, I set the intention that I wanted to have X amount of dollars in my bank account by the end of the following year. Yes, I had like minuscule goals and plans of how I was going to get there, but my intention was this figure. And then I brought in the aspect of manifestation, which I'm really passionate about. So what I actually did was create a vision board, and I love vision boards. And I printed off my bank balance, and on like Photoshop, I changed the number to the amount that I wanted to save. Then I printed it off and I added it onto my vision board. And lo and behold, 12 months later, I had reached my goal. And there was actually a few other things that have happened. I even have had LA on my vision board for a long time, and now I've been in LA for 5 months. And that happened during a pandemic, which is like, who travels during a pandemic? And I managed to get here. Life can present us with the most mysterious ways of presenting things to us. I honestly have so many stories about things that I have manifested, but the real thing with manifestation is don't get so fixated on it. So like, put it somewhere or write it down, or what I love doing is like journaling about it, and really like picturing myself what it would feel like to be like, to like live that experience and like really embody it, and write that all down, and then like let it go. Or do something like the vision board where you put it in, you know, your sight every day or behind a bathroom door or whatever, so that you're kind of reminded of it. And it's crazy how your psyche like picks up on it, and you start attracting the things that you're constantly reminding yourself on. So yet again, it's just crazy like what you can do with a little bit of patience and time. And that's why I love dedicating some time out to doing this stuff. And I set the space, and I have no one around, and I might put some candles on, some incense, and I really make it like special and like important, because it is important. It's your life, you know, you want to put time out for it. So if you saw on my Instagram, there's a couple of other things that I journaled about 12 months ago that came to fruition, which I didn't even realize they happened. Reflecting, I now have like a team of like 3 or 4 people. I had even written back then that I, you know, would love to know that my ideal partner is out there for me, but I put no time frame on it. I was in no rush, I was in no push, I just like added it in there. Lo and behold, that happened too. And the crazy thing is, I didn't realize that all this stuff was happening along the way. It wasn't until I went back and read my journal from 12 months ago that I was like, oh my God, this stuff has happened. And that's where the importance of reflection comes in, stopping and reflecting. Because at that point, I was so caught up in being like, oh my God, like I still need to do all this stuff for my job in this area, and I still need to do all this stuff. Getting caught in my thoughts and and this was going on for a little while. And that's when I looked back at my journal and I was like, whoa, like you've actually achieved a lot of the things that you had written about. So that's, yeah, like the importance of stopping and reflecting, and then being really grateful and appreciative for what I have, you know, created, instead of continually always looking like what's next, what's next, what's next. So that appreciation is key in the process. So some of the things that really help me to do all this and to like keep me on track is having external help, or getting involved in something. So for example, I'm now doing the Gabby Bernstein 21-day manifestation challenge starting January 1st. I love doing things like this, bringing into the new year, whether it's like going away and doing a little treat, if that's something that's possible, or doing a meditation challenge. Last year I did the Deepak Chopra money manifestation challenge, which again, like did wonders for me. It was a 21-day challenge. There was activities to do every day with it. You can find it on YouTube. And so this year I'm doing the Gabby Bernstein one, which you can find on her website, and that's a 21-day manifestation challenge. So having those kind of like external factors, or if you can find a friend to kind of like do this stuff with, I feel like that just really helps like solidify it, and it kind of keeps you accountable as well. And then lastly, there's like the more of the goal stuff. So this is the technique that actually Sean taught me. It's called Big Hairy Audacious Goals bags, which you can Google. And basically what I did, or what we did 12 months ago, was kind of write out all the different pillars of my life. So from like personal to like content creation to DJing, presenting, like all the different facets of my life. Then you can break it down to like 3 most important things of each pillar, and then really like focus on them, put your intentions towards them. And then if you want to go more in depth, you can keep breaking down each subheading into how you're going to do it. So that's like a really good practical way to really outline like what are the fundamentals that you want to get out of the next year. So that's something that's a bit more like laid out, it's a bit more clear, it's something you can really focus on, and that's very I'm talking about, like really finding that balance between having those goals and then having your intentions and combining the two to have a really like wholesome outlook on your next year. But I honestly cannot express enough to you like how much coming into the new year, spending a little bit of time just like focusing on yourself, focusing on your life, what a difference it makes. I have been doing these kinds of things for years, I think like coming up to 10 years. And when I really do put the time and effort into it, I actually reap the rewards. It's amazing. So I would love to hear if any of you guys have any of your own little techniques, or if you try out any of mine. And I wish you all the best happy new year, and I hope we all have an amazing 2022. I know it's been a rocky ride, but we really are, I guess, all in this together. And I hope that all of you can keep manifesting your dreams and setting your intentions, and I hope all good, wholesome, loving stuff comes your way.